Hello and welcome. This is the third attempt at doing this video. Yes, hello. Yeah, it's me, TFR Wilderness. Now you can probably see from the background that I've recently returned from this year's Rollout Roll Call 2016, which just went on this weekend, and I've, as you can see, I bought a few things. And before I get started on the review, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, this is the day after Rollout Roll Call. I've took the day off work, blah, blah, blah. I've got a bunch of videos I want to put up this week. I've got 2 reviews I want to knock out ASAP. I'll give you the reasons for that why in a moment. I want to do 2 rollout videos. I want to do my haul video, and I also want to do my reflections video, which will basically be a talk about my experiences at the convention this year. And also, while I was messing around doing things this morning, Postman bought 2 packages, so we've got 2 KTRT bots, which I'd like to review at some point later this week. So it's going to be busy on my channel this week. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, went to Rollout Roll Call. Kapow had a fairly large stall there that was absolutely smothered with Titan's Return stuff, as you would expect. But there were a few other little things on there which were of interest, and they had the latest wave, or the new wave, of Transformers Robot in Disguise figures, and I thought this was strange because I'm sure these things aren't out yet. They're definitely not out in the UK. They're probably not even out in America, or maybe they're just starting to come out in America. But anyway, they had them on the store, and they had the latest wave of Warrior class figures. They had Thunderhoof and Quillfire, but they also had Warrior class Power Surge Optimus Prime, which I'm not really interested in, and they also had Warrior class Windblade, and the subject of this review, Warrior class Scorponok. Now, I did a quick check on YouTube before I started this review, and as of this moment of recording this video, nobody on YouTube has reviewed this guy or this gal as of yet. So looks like I've got another couple of first reviews for my channel. Yeah, so Scorponok. If you've been watching the RID show, he turns up in later episodes of season 2. What it basically happens when the Alchemor prison ship crash landed on Earth, it split into 2 sections. The control, the cockpit and the control section crash landed near the scrapyard where the few Decepticons escaped, and the Autobots had to round them up, and that was basically season 1. Season 2, we find out later on that there was another bigger section of the ship that crashed some way away in a swamp, and the Decepticons had escaped. They'd enslaved the Minicon helpers, and they're fixing up the ship so that they can blast off into space, escape from Earth, and get away to freedom. And Scorponok here is one of the 2 main sort of leaders of this band of Decepticons who's preparing this ship for departure. He only appears in a couple of episodes. He kind of gets rounded up pretty quickly by the Autobots and put into stasis, but when you do see him, he's a complete hard-ass taskmaster. He doesn't take any crap from his underlings. He's a warrior through and through. He relishes a tough fight. He likes going up against bigger, stronger opponents and testing his mettle. And he's a complete and utter badass. So, and these RID has been sort of getting better as it's gone along. There's some really good episodes in season 2, and we're getting a lot of, just recently we've been getting a lot of Decepticon love in the RID line, which is unusual. Most toy lines they come out is loads of Autobots and a few sprinkling of Decepticons, but now seem to be getting more Decepticons than Autobots, which is quite interesting. We've had Quillfire, Thunderhoof, Megatronus, Fracture, and now we've got this guy, and we've got a couple of other Decepticons coming along as well. So I picked this guy up because I kind of realised that no one had reviewed it yet, so chance of getting another first review on my channel, be rude not to. So yeah, this is about the 3rd time I've done this recording. I did the second recording. I was processing it, and then I found out I missed a kind of crucial transformation step into the Scorpion mode, which kind of it makes a bit more sense. So anyway, let's look at the robot mode to start with. So we've got Scorponok in his robot mode, and he's got a very interesting aesthetic going on because he's very sort of thin and wiry, and he's got these digistruct legs that are very skinny. He's got skinny arms, not much going on, a fairly svelte body. He's got these big chunky shoulder pauldrons, and he's got his obviously scorpion tail. Before we get too deep into the review, a quick note on the packaging. This is the new style packaging. They have all this. I mean, here's an example of the old style packaging. Here's Megatronus's pack. You've got this bit's pretty much the same. You've got art of the CGI art of the character from the show. You've got the RID logo. You've got Transformers down the side. You've got logo there. On the back, it's pretty much the same. The thing that's different is you've got all this, instead of it being black down here with white writing, you've got this black on green. And they've got these Minicon Weaponizer logos here and here. So it's all green around there. And the background art is slightly different as well. So they have changed up the packaging for this latest wave of figures. And here's Scorponok. He's aesthetic-wise, like I said, he's got this very thin, sort of wiry look to him that's quite unusual, and kind of looks like a insectoid, humanoid vibe going on, which I quite like. He looks really cool. Some nice moulding detail on his head sculpt, on his chest, on his arms, and on the tail. Paint apps. He's got like these little red energon bits on his arms. He's got some on his forehead. He's got some on his tail. Colour palette. He's got the browns on his bits on his legs, the insectoid legs, and his these shoulder things, which will actually form the claws for his alt mode. He's got like a dark gunmetal grey for his helmet on his head, on his forearms, and on his legs. Then he's got orange on his arms as well. He's got a little bit of silver on his waist. Head sculpt is quite well formed, a little bit small, but he's got like a silver faceplate with red eyes, and he's got the grey helmet with the chin strap. And his legs are in moulded plastic, but they've got the brown, the silver, the grey going along. So he's nice, typical colour palette you would see on a like a desert creature, like a scorpion. So yeah, he looks nice. He's got the RID roundel faction symbol in the middle, which you can obviously scan and activate the mobile game if you still do that sort of thing, which I doubt many people do. I mean, have I still got the game on my phone, but I haven't played it in ages. Can't be bothered with it. So yeah, quick look at the articulation. His head is on a ball joint, and it can swivel around a little bit of forwards and backwards and side to side. His shoulders. Now they're inside on ball joints inside these things. You have these little covers which you can lift up, which gives you a bit more motion. Arm goes forwards, it goes back, and it can come out. He's got an upper bicep swivel. The elbows go a little bit over 90 degrees, which is nice. Moving down, nothing on the waist. He's got decent hip joints, can do the splits. They go forwards and back quite a way. He's got an upper thigh swivel. Got these digistruct backwards knees, which have got like a joint at both ends. You can straighten them out and give him very, very long, spindly insectoid legs if you so desire. But normally they go like that, and then you've got the foot, which folds away as part of the transformation, but it has got a certain amount of motion there. The joints on the legs are all pin joints, and they're fairly firm and they're fairly stiff. So you can, even though this guy's got quite a bit of weight with his tail and all this on his backpack, and he's got very thin, spindly legs, you can actually get him in some half decent poses. He's quite poseable and decently balanced. It's not overly top heavy. And obviously the tail, you can plug his sword into his tail to give him a little bit extra spiky bit. But the sword, he can actually sort of wield it, and it's like a spiky sort of saber type sword. And the tail, it's got a ball joint on the base, which means it's, you know, you can bring it round to the side if you so wish. And then it's got an intermediate pivot there, and it's got a pivot on the top as well. The only thing is, on the box art, it clearly shows his tail going right over the top of his head and the stinger hanging over the top of his head. It can't quite do that on this. It doesn't quite reach. So it could do with an extra articulation section to bring it up and give it that little bit extra reach, but it doesn't do it, which is kind of a missed opportunity and a bit unfortunate, but never mind, it's not really necessary. So yeah, his robot mode is alright, I quite like it. It's decently posable, a little bit restricted on the shoulders, but yeah, it's like that. Now, transforming this guy into Scorpion mode. Before, when I recorded this, I missed a transformation step and it made the transformation a little dodgy, and certain things didn't quite add up, and there was some pegs which were like, where the hell do these go? But mine has a QC issue, which we'll come into. Now, first of all, you remove his sword. Just put it to one side. Now, you do the arms and form the the claws for the Scorpion mode first. Now, they've got an interesting transformation thing here. You've got these big plastic boxes, you know, these casings on his shoulders, and they're his claws. But to get them from there to here, what you have to do is you basically have to unplug them, and as you can see, there's like a ring going round the arm. See? And it moves down the arm, and these casings are hinged. They've got a hinge joint, so you can open them up like that. And then the idea is you bring them down, hang on, you sort of fold the arm forwards, and then you bring this round, and then you sort of put the arm inside, and then you close the casing around it. Now, it doesn't actually peg inside the casing. You just put it in, you close it around, and from friction alone, it just holds it shut. And the articulation is on the shoulder joint. And then you shut that up. So yeah, now it's kind of okay. It kind of holds in position, but if you try to move the elbow on the claw, it just does that. It just opens up because it restricts the articulation on the elbow. And I've got to admit, I'm not really a fan of this particular engineering they've done on these. So yeah, you open the arm up. It clips into the peg on the chest. Just there. So when you pull it out, you unpeg it, you fold the arm at right angles, you then shut the thing around it, and there you have the claws. So moving down, now next piece is the chest. You open the chest up like that. You got the beast mode head, which you pull out. Now, I thought you just then closed it back up and then sort of bunched the rest of it. Now, there's a transformation step I missed. There's actually a double hinge in the bottom, and you just pull it out that little bit. The head, you sort of turn it round, and then you sort of fold it in a little bit. Now, mine has got a QC issue with this joint here, and it just comes off like that. You can kind of wedge it in, and it will stay in position. But what it is it's a pivot, and there's supposed to be some plastic lugs that it pivots off, and they've been sort of been squashed, sort of melted in the moulding process, and they're squashed and not formed properly. So it's a little QC issue on mine. So anyway, you fold the head in. Then you fold that in and it clips in to there. Obviously just bring the head up like that and clip it into place. Then you've got to deal with these. Now, fold in the feet, bring that round and fold the leg back. You then bring them round and they've got a pegging port there and there's a pegging port there, and you just peg them in, and then you just peg them in like that, and then you'll end up with something looking like that. Then you bring down the insect legs, and there we pretty much have Scorponok in his scorpion mode. I'm liking this a lot better than when I transformed it before without that extra double hinge step with the chest. It's easy to overlook it, and if you don't actually look at the instructions, then you'll totally miss it. And you'll do it the other way and you'll think, well, this isn't very good, because when you fold the head away it fouls with the other head and it won't close up properly. But this all pegs in quite firmly and nicely. And yeah, so there's your scorpion mode. It's alright. You can plug the sword in the back there to give him an extra spiky thing. Articulation, he's got a little jaw that goes up and down. You've got the joint, the shoulder joint there, but that's all it's got. You can't bring the elbows out because then it'll just unpeg the claw box and it'll just burst open. The legs are static, they don't move, and then you've got the tail, which has got the same articulation as it had before. It does kind of sit on the ground with his feet, not quite. It just sort of sits on the ground with all these hard points underneath. So there's his scorpion mode. It's okay. I like it better now that I've figured out how to transform it properly. Whereas before I didn't really like it at all. It's okay. It's a bit restricted in what you can do with it, but it is what it is. The engineering's adequate. I just wish they'd have paid a little bit more attention to QC issues on a few areas, perhaps. So yeah, there he is in his scorpion mode. I'm going to put a little photo gallery at the back where I'm going to photograph these guys in detail. And with that, I will call this review an end. Obviously, you'll see me again shortly when I will review Windblade. And I will bid you adieu and see you next time. Ta-da.